So, a lot of people have had issues with Dokkan recently in 2023. The past few months, people have been talking about them getting a burnout for the game. They've been getting disappointed in the releases. They've been having a lot of issues with Dokkan. And a lot of people are feeling bored of Dokkan, disappointed, right? And I personally, I see a lot of those like disappointments, and while I'm not like tired of Dokkan or anything like that, and like personally, I still do enjoy playing the game. I do still think that they bring content that I personally like, doing. They could definitely do more, right? Any game I feel like could do more, and I completely see where people are coming from, but I wanted to get everyone's thoughts in just one big video right here because this is a thing that's been going on for a few days and we've still been talking about it. So I think it's good to just discuss this, give my views on what's going on exactly, and let's just talk about it because I'll be honest, I think some of the things people are saying are a little over exaggerated, I think, but let's just take a look here. So again, we'll just tackle everything as it happens. We'll look at some of the quotes. Yeah, let's take a look at the quotes first. We'll take a look at this, right? But there's way more replies than quotes. The 8th anniversary is the first anniversary to be worthy of skipping. And I would say that's not really true because the 8th anniversary still has the best unit in the game. Well, I guess, honestly, well, yeah, I think you could argue them as the best unit in the game. Still, Bulma came out, but most people shouldn't have someone on Bulma realistically as a yellow coin banner with a pretty bad, featured units. Not really like a global. I would say it's not worthy of skipping. The reason why is because there's going to be discounts, there's going to be tickets, there's going to be just a lot of like incentives to someone on that banner that even JP was not able to get, right? There's even the free multis that JP did get that'll be there, right? So I don't think it'd be smart to fully skip anniversary, though a lot of people aren't interested in the anniversary theme this year, which is completely fair, right? At the end of the day, it's your opinion on what's worthy to skip or not. But I do think that the banners are still really good. I personally like the character choices, though a lot of people have not. We'll see if a lot of people think the same way when the 8th anniversary actually hits, like in a month. Because I feel like things might change up a bit when the 8th anniversary is actually in game and people actually could use these units at the very least as friend units, right? And who knows, maybe the banners are gonna be even better than before, right? Okay, let's take a look at the quotes. Missing on rewards because of not wanting to do boring game modes that come out once a month. I mean, yeah, if you're not enjoying the game modes, then I understand being upset missing on the rewards. But I do think that that maybe is something where you're just not enjoying the game, and that's fine, right? There's not really much to say on that because I do understand people aren't gonna enjoy things like chain battle, and world tournament, right? Which does suck because there's pretty good rewards, but I honestly don't think that it's really that big of a deal because chain battle takes you like a couple of minutes per day to do some of your attempts, and even if you don't have to reach top 1%, top 10% in chain battle is perfectly fine, right? Hitting a million damage, right, around like a million damage gets you all the rewards, but you don't necessarily have to hit a million damage, but that's usually like the key aim factor. Most of the time that isn't even top 1%, like not even close. So that is not a big deal. Honestly, I think people overrate the chain battle, especially because again, as we get more and more units, more and more free-to-play units, chain battles are going to get easier. The only time that chain battle recently has been very bad is the last one, which is pretty awful, and we'll agree with that. World tournament, they have made a little better like in the past few releases, and they made much more incentive to do the world tournament. 30 mil points, not really too difficult to get. If you want to easy those units, you have to really grind harder, but I feel like, at this point, it's been a couple world tournaments. Even if you haven't gone like, top 1 local or anything, hey, if you played at least to get 30 mil, I feel like at this point you should definitely have been able to easy it, like LR Piccolo, for example, or that Super Saiyan 2 Tech Gohan. You still get medals from playing the game, right? So I don't know. Those are the two big ones I'm thinking of, but like, yeah, I think everything else is fine, like the free-to-play units to give us and stuff like that. We do need a pity system. Friend system, I think I definitely agree with that. These 2 points are huge because pity system, like Dokkan doesn't think it's necessary right now, unfortunately, but I think a pity, this game not having pity, is just a testament of like me and Gilray were talking about this like previously, like a few weeks ago even, but like it's a testament of how Dokkan is just an older gacha game, and the Dragon Ball IP is so successful that it just Dokkan itself as well just brings in so much revenue that there's no need for them to include a pity system in order to have to increase that revenue. Even though Legends brought, the pity system into that, at that time, they were clearly trying to increase the revenue Legends was, accumulating. And now Dokkan is not really in that spot as of yet. Because I'm sure the anniversary did well. I'm sure Golden Week was pretty popular, especially in JP. Dokkan festivals aren't getting the help they need in release. Well, this is not the case for this unit. They have like the best link set ever. They have a super good leader skill from what I remember. They're on like a billion teams. It's not that they needed a help. Is that they sucked. Honestly, they were not nearly as strong as they should have been. They released and they were not like near Cooler's strength, not near Trunks and Vegeta's strength, right? Those type of units that we considered as the best in the game, they weren't better than the year 7 LRs, right? And it was just really disappointing. So it's not that they need help, it's just that they kind of were not as strong. Same with Turles. I think Turles got a good amount of help, and I think people are misunderstanding. Him needing help is different from him being a little underpowered. This Great Ape Turles is a really, really good help for this guy. He had 2 band units with him, right? In Space Traveling Warriors, you can consider, like, a lot of these releases last year, like STR Cooler, Easy STR Cooler, At the end of the day, they do help provide to his leader skill. He also technically leads Pure Saiyan, so there's like a billion extra options you can run on the team. If you're running Great Ape Turles, you're kind of, like, held by the neck to have to run 5 of Space Traveling Warriors, but you could always sub in Pure Saiyan's units if you're not going to be running Great Ape Turles, or at least 1, because he only needs 5, so you have like 1 extra spot for wiggle room with him, right? Super 17, KL, and Super Boo, I do agree, they should have gotten more help. Super 17 was Turles, but no help. KL was really strong, but she's more so the opposite of Turles, where she's like very overpowered. Like, she's absurd, especially when you get Super Saiyan 2. But she didn't get the help she need. Super Boo is just like, he's good, right? But it's like he's kind of like closer to like how I guess like closer to like Super 17, right? He obviously is much better than Super 17, but at least I personally feel. But this guy didn't get the help he needed at all, right? He got nothing. He just released by himself. And they're like, yep, that's good, right? They literally dropped nothing. Absolutely nothing, right? Diamond backgrounds. Right. It was painted red instead of gray, would better. I mean, people, yeah, it's like, that's not really an issue. I mean, the diamond background sucks, right? But it's not really what we're looking for here. Broly. I guess you just can't beat Broly yet, which is fair enough, right? Zero hard content in the event that LR Turles actually easy aid was, and physical Turles was good. I'm bored bringing them to the same Shadow Dragon, which I've been fighting for 5 months straight. I mean, okay, so Sin Shenron came out, I think like on the 22nd of February. So we can go March, April, May, and then now, yeah, it's literally May. So it's been about 3 months since Sin Shenron came out, right? Because we barely hit June, so it's like, if it was at the end, I'm pretty sure it was the 22nd of February. So it's been like 1, again, 2, and then 3. It's been about 3 months since Sin Shenron was out. So 5 months is not correct. I want to talk about this point once I get to a certain response I saw, but I think there's a reason a global player specifically could be very bored with this fight. But keep in mind, last year on JP, we went from anniversary all the way to like right before the worldwide celebration with Cell Max without any difficult content release, right? This is exactly how it was last year. So I'm not surprised that we haven't really seen anything new. Do I think we should have gotten something new? Yes. But am I surprised? No, because this is literally exactly what happened last year. So, yeah. No pity of any kind, nothing but difficult events. They released 3 large banners at once, but never given enough content to earn stones. I think this is untrue. I think Dokkan has been giving more content, like just normal content, free-to-play player content, just general content. I think they have been giving quite a lot. I mean, this Turles celebration. Um, we have the new Dragon Ball story coming up. We have the this event you can still get stones from. What else came out? Let me take a look here, because again, a good amount of stuff came out, like the Turles sub EZAs, the Dragon Ball story, right? Obviously, there's the missions for their Turles. You know, event going on. In a few days, we're getting Gohan and Goten's EZA. We're getting the Super Battle Road stages. Like this Extreme Super Battle Road, they've been giving us a lot of. Actually, I think this is the last stage before we can get the Vegeta family support memory. But this like gives you eight stones. The normal Super Battle Road gives like 6 stones, right? And they released like multiple of these within the month, which it adds up, right? Chain Battle usually gives a good amount of stones, right? New areas coming, and this is all within like the next 2 weeks, right? And that probably totals up to around, honestly, around like 70-80 stones, right? And this is just a normal celebration. Like Golden Week had way more content, right, if you consider all of it. Trading units, the restriction. Yeah, I think that this should be like the next banner. No, maybe not the next banner, but it should be like a lot sooner. Like not for when these units actually return on banners. But I will say as well, they might have slightly improved this with the recent banner where we got, what's his face? We got both Yamcha and Bardock to both return on this banner, which is really good. I hope this app happens more often, because if Yamcha didn't return on this banner, we would not have seen him for literally the entirety of June. Because Tanabata, it seems like Tanabata might not be even returning a new unit anymore. Like, we would have had to wait till like July 1st to see this guy Yamcha. And then after that, it would have been, now in this spot, who's going to return? It's going to be the 17s are going to return in July. Which, you know, makes me think, you know, Lord Slug or like Enter 13 could really be the Dokkan Fest right before Worldwide Celebration, like a villain release, right? I said, did I say 17? Super Enter 13, right? But then now 17 is gonna return, when in reality we would have had to wait all the way until October for Super 17 to return, and that is like a long time, right? And now it's way less cut down. So hopefully they do stuff at least for like this time spot where like we're right before Tanabata and Worldwide, and that would be really, really cool. Oh yeah, well, Tanabata might return God Goku, which would be really good as well. Let's take a look at some of these replies now. Lacapedia, villains often get the short stack. I think this this is one of the big issues. People are bringing this up, that they're half-baking teams. They're bringing out these teams. They're not giving the buffs that they need. They're not giving a lot of them the help they need, or they're just straight up underpowering them. While for a super class, they release those in a much more often, you know. It's funny because they usually give super class and extreme class like the same general type of help, but super class just comes out in a much more frequent manner. So it's like, and they usually like super classes all like Saiyans, right? So it's like they all like link together because there's like these Saiyan links that they all share. And then villains, like their links, I think the issue, big issue is villains links, right? That they just don't work together key wise. You know, some of them have big bad bosses, some of them have like Nightmare, like these different links, Fear and Faith, Shocking Speed, and then some of them just don't work together well at all, right? Content is poorly spread out. Sometimes, yeah, I think this Turles content, like celebration and how it's spread out, is actually quite nice. They give us a good amount of stuff to do. I wouldn't say a lot, but they give us a good amount of stuff to do. Like, I personally haven't even done this. I haven't done the Dragon Ball story. I haven't even farmed up Dr. Wheeler yet. I'm still technically farming. I'm link leveling Turles, right? So it's like a little bit of a difference for me compared to most people who won't like have Turles link level. But there's like some extra stuff to do, and it's like, you're not expected to do all of this in the same day. Like, there's going to be someone who completed all this yesterday, all of it, and then they're like, oh, I had nothing to do until the 6th that Gohan and Goten drops. And then it's like, in reality, you're expected to, like, okay, I'll log in, I'll do the Dragon Ball story yesterday. Today I'm going to log in, I'm going to go ahead and do, let's say, the battlefield. Then the second I'm going to log in, we'll start Dr. Wheelo. The third, maybe I'll finish Dr. Wheelo. And then there's like this time frame where Gohan and Goten's EZA details will be out. And then like until the 6th, it's supposed to be like, oh, a dry waiting period. We can go play other games, especially do other things, right? And it's like you're not really intended to play this like game for more than like, I don't know, like an hour a day at most. And it's also the fact where they design these celebrations where they tempt you to summon. You're like, okay, I finished the Dragon Ball story, I really kind of want Turles. And then if you get Turles, you're have the ability to use Turles in like all these different red zones. So max that is available, right? It's in the Shenron, right? And that does take up some extra time being able to play test some of these units. The sub EZAs, right? There's a time slot where you could try out the new sub EZAs, right? The new free-to-play Turles not really like that, right? But yeah, that's kind of like their idea for it. That's why like some of these like beginning weeks like seem kind of dry, because they want you to summon out the new banner. So they a lot of times wait until like the second or third week to push out a lot of stuff too. But I think this Starless celebration content has been spaced out pretty nicely. Burst mode should be in every celebration. Yeah, burst mode has been like in every celebration though, to be fair. Like, when's the last time we haven't gotten a burst mode in a celebration? Like a month? I mean, like every month we've been getting a burst mode or two. Yeah, this would be cool as well. New missions. It's very easy to do missions. Even if it's like just a random mission on a weekly rotation, like go clear Legendary Goku event with an STR Terrifying Conquerors team. Or go clear Red Zone Broly with like a Tech Goku Families team. And then it's like, oh, you want to run 2 tech units or something against Red Zone Omega or something, right? Just like random missions like generated each week would be really, really cool and give a lot of replayability. Like weekly missions, I think that's like an idea I've had. Main issue is surprisingly version Z. This is Gale I was talking about earlier. While it did bring some changes, it never really felt like the overhaul should have been. I do agree, because like version Z brought us obviously the Dragon Ball stories, which is cool, right? But it's not like, a game changer or anything. Things like you said, pity, world tournament revamp, friend system improvements were all pretty much unaddressed or just said it would never happen. And that's pretty much true. These are the biggest things that we wanted. And at the end of the day, version Z just felt like normal releases with just, general quality of life stuff, or stuff though that's just brand new. Not really the big stuff that we're asking for, right? Sorry to get a little taste of my coffee there, but yeah, I think I saw Truth quoted this as well. You can add many more issues, but you're thinking about it, and it would probably point to be one of the major points. A lot of players are burnt out, but Dokkan hasn't done much to help ensure that players are retained. That's true, because these are things that we've had issues with, and then we get this big version update, and it's like, oh, yeah, no. Like, they fixed World Tournament a little bit. They give us some extra stuff, too. Friend system was, like, kind of fixed, right? And this is what Truth is talking about. Like, the friend system was pretty good until the anniversary, where what happens is, how the friend system works is that we can find friends based off of what friend leads, like what leaders people use to clear the event. And for a while, it was like pretty solid, right? We were able to see a lot of these leads as long as someone cleared the event with them and you're trying to look for a certain lead. The issue is that since people started really botting during the 8th anniversary, and those bot accounts just like auto clear everything with like, the starter SSR units, starter SR units, right? It just heavily populated those to show up as friend leads for like Red Zone. I don't know, like let's say you're trying to beat Red Zone Omega or Broly, and then you're trying to find like an Earthlings leader. You're just gonna go down, you're gonna find a bunch of SR Chi-Chis, SR Krillins, and then you're just like, that's half of the friends list that's available, taking up spots that could potentially be, let's say, I don't know, Yamcha, or like a Prime Battle Krillin doing a challenge or something, right? That's the issue there. And I definitely agree that, that's a thing. Dokkan making niche units really bad for, really fucking bad for absolutely no reason. Stop giving these units to never get cards, ass kits. Literally Dr. Wheelo. It's like, they know they're not going to drop Dr. Wheelo again. And with this guy EZA's, maybe he'll be pretty good, but right now he sucks. And it's like, what's the point of dropping him if he sucks? Like he'll be, I guess, for him, they're probably thinking of him like, oh, he'll be good for, I don't know, Battlefield. Like, come on. It's been almost a year and a half since we got Red Zone, like Broly and stuff like that. So like, what's the point of doing this? I personally don't see the point in doing that. I feel just it is so funny, so funny. Okay, let's see what else here. We need to when character guard is active. That's a very big thing. I would love to see that. That would be a big buff for units that have a chance to guard. I do agree. This would be huge. Or they make it so that guard works like damage reduction chances, where it's like, okay, you have a high chance to guard that could activate in any single hit, and once it activates, it's there for the turn. Rather than, oh, it's guard or not, and then if you don't guard, you die, right? Damage reduction chance works like that, like for Tech Boma, for B-Pan before she EZA'd, right? Mirror lead is something that I think a lot of people want. Like, because if you have the unit and you could just mirror your lead, there's like absolutely no issues. So I don't know why they're so adamant about not doing that. That just fixes the friend system, right? I mean, maybe you're like 55% link level 2, like Super 17, and you're like, oh, I kind of want to beat like this event, but my Super 17 is too weak, and it's like, well, you know, at least you could use him rather than not fighting him, right? You know, if villains need more love. Yep, a lot of people have issues with villains, obviously. I wonder why, right? We read this one before. Beans on toast, I see. Thanks, Trey. No Zoro. Yeah, Joseph. Okay, serious note. Lack of daily stuff to do. I mean, yeah, like daily missions, like I could really boot up like Star Rail like right in the middle of this, but there's like 5 daily missions where you actually have to go clear events or do something in Star Rail. There's like the weekly missions thing I was thinking about. Also, I kind of got from like playing Star Rail, and it's also a thing in Genshin that's down here as well. Though I haven't played Genshin in a while, but like this game came out recently, a Hoyoverse game, and it's like they have weekly missions. They have like at least a feeling of you log in and there's like replayability and stuff to do. They could do a little better for like end game content, right? But this game just released and it's been like 2 weeks, and I feel like they handle that aspect better than Dokkan is right now, right? And that's the thing that I was talking about. Dokkan, they're an older gacha system. Star Rail is a newer gacha, with like a newer gacha idea with pity and, you know, more weekly missions and stuff like that, right? It's different, which is unfortunate because they should really just be like, hey, you know, it's a new age. We should just like update some of this stuff, right? Main events we use in units are the exact same events we've been using them for months now. And again, I feel like I want to talk about this point now. I think Gress may have brought it up, and other people, right? But this is the one I saw earlier, right? So I think that a big thing is Global has been a sitting duck, kind of. We talked about it earlier, but JP got Sin like 3 months ago, right? We went from February 22nd, April, you know, I can't count, to, February, April, May, I'm confused. Am I stupid? I'm skipping like a bunch of months, right? Yeah, March. I'm skipping March, right? February to March to April to May. That's 3-month time span, and we've had Sin. And it's like 3 months is not like that long of a time, right? Though honestly, I feel like, you know, once we get to worldwide, I feel like we're not gonna get anything until then. Maybe Tanabata, right? But it was kind of the same thing last year with Broly, right? Where we didn't get anything until Max came out, right? And Global didn't really experience that like time frame, right? I don't know if Joseph is a Global player or not, but like I just want to explain. This is how it was last year in JP. Global got Broly and Omega. Then the next month they got Max. Then the next month they got Metal Cooler Core. Then like 2 months later, you guys got the Red Ribbon Army Red Zone. And it's like you're like back to back to back to back. You know, difficult content like all the time. And you just kind of feel really juiced up. And you're like, okay, 2022 Dokkan, really, really good. 7th anniversary Dokkan year, really, really great. And then from the start of December or the end of when the fan of Red Ribbon Army Red Zone drop, like in the middle of January. From then, all the way to now, which is about like 4 to 5 months, right, from when like the Red Ribbon Army Red Zone first originally dropped. drop like at the end of December, basically. Um, that's when it's like global experiencing that kind of level of pause that GP got last year. Well, GP also got Sin Shenron at the end of February, which is kind of a little break in the middle there. But now Global is going through this first half of the year without difficult content, and a lot of people have been asking for the new stage of difficult content because they're used to last year where they had it back to back to back to back, and then now that we're in the first half of the year, especially for Global, when it's like they're not dropping like these Dokkan Fest LR major celebrations, right? Until Global Anniversary starts, that's when Global's gonna get worldwide, then Global's gonna go anniversary, then into worldwide, then after at the end of the year Global will get Tanabata, and then after Global's gonna go ahead and get New Year's, which could still also be Dokkan Fest LRs like they were last year. And it's like that's when like that major hype period for Dokkan, even in JP, is right. So give it a month, and I think things are going to look a lot better in terms of difficult content right here. I assure you guys. If they don't, then that's a huge major flop. But I would assume major events, like celebrations like that, are going to be where the like main content is going to be. Hopefully Tanabata brings something, fingers crossed. But last year Golden Week didn't introduce a new event, so it makes sense that this month they didn't, right? Just my thought on how that global perspective may be. Let me know what you guys are thinking as global players, right? Not giving a shit about sometimes, yeah, but I feel like this is always a thing. Like it's really depending. I feel like if they gave every unit like the Ginyu treatment, things would be so much different. But they, at this point, there's like a lot of their time that they put into like these animations. They plan stuff all the way to the 10th year anniversary, so that likely is them putting a lot more consideration to upcoming units, big major celebrations. At the end of this month, if we get like, I don't know, Dragon Fist Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and he has like the best animations in the game. He does a notification, he has like active skill, obviously like an intro, and then all these stuff. And it's like, okay, that's where they put all this like work into the big parts of the year. And I would rather, honestly, even if it's a little like dry-ish in some aspects, I would much like to prefer that the big celebrations really hit. Though they could definitely put a little more effort into like some of these like 17 Super Boo kind of units that release, and just like give them no help, like at least something. Giving them nothing is terrible. At least like one banner unit to help them. Like Kale was also a mistake, right? Enough free-to-play units. Pre-2022, they're expanding left and right. I feel like an issue is that after like the reset, the free-to-play units should come out at a lesser amount, and they're also not really as strong. So it's like we do get a solid amount of free-to-play units now every celebration, but not all of them are like the Asterion Yamcha or the Tech Bomb or the Tech Moon Roshi that we got last month. That's Jackie 2, my apologies, right? Some of them were like physical Prime Battle Krillin. So I think that they have been releasing a solid amount of free-to-play units, right? If you really just like take a look and check everything. No pity, 2.5k without a mod junior, this should not be possible. I agree, this is just way too much, right? I think my idea for pity has always been go 1,000 stones, you're guaranteed that copy, and it's just one copy. And that's it, right? Once you hit it, you're good, you're done. One copy, at bare minimum. Because some people really just want one copy. And then, usually, most situations, you may get like an extra copy too if you go 2.5k stones. But this is just awful. At the very least, you should be guaranteed. Because nothing is guaranteed in this game. For summoning. Friend system to a lesser extent before, however, it's still bad. Yeah. No weekly content, exactly what I was talking about earlier. Missions for red zones, right? Weekly content could be really cool. Villain links, only villains have a chance either have big butt bosses or TFC. There should be another link revamp. Maybe I'll make a video on that, like a new link level system revamp. Let me know what you guys think about that, right? Feels like they're going through the motions. Lack of proper villain support. Like imagine if Turles always has an intro up, and then like what teams are Turles on? Like if he always had his intro animation up, like this boy would be so so good for villain teams. Just this. I don't even care about the support. This for villain teams would be like the biggest buff ever because it's for the rest of the battle. So even when he's not on rotation, everyone's getting 3 key. That's like so busted for extreme class, and that fixes like basically half their problems. Like at minimum half. That's probably an understatement. And that's how big of an issue. Like, you can throw this guy movie bosses, and then everyone gets 3 key. LR Golden Frieza gets 3 key. LR Final Foam Cooler gets 3 key. Metal Cooler, right? Pure Saiyans won't really be affected by that. Last Resort, like, I think Last Resort could get, like, a villain-based team again. You have Cooler, you have Fusions Zamasu, right? You have LR Baby, Majin Vegeta, Maj Jr., and then it's like, maybe you could throw a team together, like, primarily big bad bosses units. You even see this, you know, this Super Buu that transforms. In the future we get a new LR Buu tanks Buhan, right? And it's like you could run like I could see like a LR Buhan leading like final trump card, and then like you have a villain base for it, and then you have Turles on here, and it's like, oh, imagine if Turles could support that entire team. I mean, if in that celebration we got like a Goku family enemy, then you could, right? But you guys are kind of seeing my point. There's no guarantee to get a Goku family enemy. If anything, we're just gonna get like a Buu, Majin Buu, like Red Zone, right? And it's like Dead in the Water, as well as many Dokkan Fests that have weird quirks like Goku, Kid Goku, and the Gammas, right? Like, yeah, that was like Turles' special gimmick, the support, and then it's like you can't ever really get it, so it's like he's kind of basic now. When they undertune as well. It's not fun or exciting and exhausting, the possibility of requiring new unit characters only to be able to test them in the same secret fights, three fights all year. And yeah, I would say that Golden Week should introduce a new level of difficult content, and then Global should just honestly sneak up, because think about it, if we have, let's say February, well, okay, let's say at the beginning of the year, New Year's, if New Year's introduces a new difficult content, then at the end of February we get like, something like Sin Shenron or another new difficult type of content. Then at the end of May, like around like let's say like a week ago or 2 from now, we get like a final stage for another difficult content. Then at the end of July, like in the second half, like every 2 months we get like some sort of difficult content stage. It's not like they have to put too much work into that. Like it's not like they're making a brand new units. There's not really too much to have to go into making like a difficult stage of content. I honestly don't know why they don't. It's not like the biggest like time consuming thing ever, right? And it's like we go from New Year's to anniversary to Golden Week to Tanabata to the worldwide celebration, and then it's like on and off, kind of like with a month or month to span every like single time. But I'm telling y'all, like anniversary, Global's gonna get Sin, and then worldwide celebration they're gonna get like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 red zones maybe, and then I think Tanabata has a good chance of getting a fight, and then New Year's is like all this stuff is gonna drop at the end of the year, but Global just won't really have that spread out, right? Like JP is much more spread out in terms of those contents dropping at the end of the year, especially. But there should be more in the first half of the year. Like Golden Week should probably introduce something. Friend system updates, listen to the community. I mean, making more surveys, yeah. I feel like people don't fill out these surveys. And that's an issue. People need to fill out these surveys more. They need to increase the quantity and quality of upgrades with villains. Villains should come with at least 1 bounty in it. I think, do you mean 2? Because like they always come with 1 bounty. Unless you mean like every single villain, like Super Buu one. Yeah, I agree. Skip Dokkan events. Maybe not skip, but like like a graded difficulty, so you could do multiple runs at once essentially. 200% lead meta being so unflashed, especially in the extreme side of things. Honestly, you can make an argument villains have been like in the worst spot of Dokkan since the 7th anniversary, because like when has a 200% villain team ever really been like relevant? Like we had AGL Cell came out, but it's like his team was kind of half-baked. And I would have to look at the timeline, like the JP timeline of things. I'm trying to think. Like, I guess, I could probably bring up Fierce Battle. And then we could look at Extreme Class Fierce Battle. This team definitely is not, like, fleshed out, right? Let's see. The only fleshed out team was, like, Cooler's team. And that's, like, the only like relevant villain team that's been out. Yeah, pretty much. Heart's team is like pretty bad. Like I was gonna say it's okay, but it's like no, the heroes units suck. AGL team, the Ginyu Force team was actually good, right? So we had I think 2 relevant teams in about 18 months. Yep. Like Ma Junior's team is really just Cooler's team 2.0. It's the same team, right? Yeah. Yep. Space Traveling Warriors is almost there. It's almost there, but it's like still half baked, I feel. Because the team's kind of sucked. And again, it's also riding off the back of Cooler's team. It's like there's no Boo team, there's no Goku Black team, there's no Cell team, right? Frieza team. Well, actually no, it's a Cooler team, right? Never mind, I'm a liar. Like an extreme like Saiyan team. Like what if Raditz was good, and then the super class like extreme class like Saiyan Saga units were good, and then it's like they all actually linked together. It's so stupid, and then we can get like a Broly, or then it could be like a really cool like extreme class villains team. But no, that's not a thing. So yeah. Even a Bojack team, like why we couldn't get like a Bojack team, like with all these Bojack links, kind of similar to like how Turles released. Yeah, I think it's been one of the worst spots in Dokkan history has been the 200% meta for villains. Yep. Biggest issue is the inability of the community to identify and acknowledge actual issues. I would say at the end of the day, it's person to person on what's an issue with Dokkan or not, but I do agree that the community right now is targeting content as the issue, and Goresh made a wonderful tweet. I wish I could find it. Okay, it's down there. Actually, I'll just bring it up. Right, I retweeted it, but we'll take a look at this in a second. Where is it? I retweeted it. I can't find it. Okay, well, it's probably over here somewhere. Let's see. Oh yeah, chain battle. Yeah, right here. I don't think people understand what the true issues is with their game right now. It's not content, although more difficult content would be nice, and I completely agree with that. People say the content sucks, but they've been giving us more content than like they have in the past few like years even. Like they've been giving us a lot of stuff to do in game. It's just not difficult content like has been like as high as like it was in the final half of last year, which kind of talked about already, but the issue is that these releases have not been coherent, putting half effort into units. Team that needs help does nothing, because at the end of the day, it just makes them become nothing releases. Worthless releases. What's the point of these units? I can't use the team. This team sucks. What's the point of summoning? Like, what's the point of playing the game? And it kind of like snowballs, right? Especially when it's like multiple releases in the year. Super 17. Who came out in April again? Kale. Super Boo. We had Turles right now. And it's like back to back. Ultimate Gohan at release, people were very disappointed in his team and his performance as a unit. Though I feel like it was a little underrated. Most people agree that Ultimate Gohan was not where he should have been. Like, link-wise, team-wise, like, Hybrid sucked as a team. Superheroes is like, had some good units, but it's like really very top-heavy, that team is. It's just back to back. It's just like really disappointing releases. And people are getting tired of it because it's a snowball effect. And then on top of the fact that if you're a villain lover, like me and Gresh are huge fans of like villain teams, right? If you're a really big villain team fan, you've been struggling in 2022 as well, because I just, like I talked about, villain teams, there's been like 2 good villain teams, Ginyu and Cooler. And then everything else is either Cooler's team 2.0 or it just sucks, right? Or not a team at all. Like you can't even consider the Boo team a team. It's not a team. You can't consider the Cell team a team. It's like not a team, right? Let's see. It doesn't feel like it used to. I feel like it might be nostalgia, because it's like a lot of people say this and it's like, oh man, I missed the 5th anniversary. But it's like they dropped fucking Gogeta Blue and Vegeta Blue, and at this point they use a lot of these like major hype units. So now we're getting units like back to back Turles, KO, Super 17, and then people are like, well, that's boring. I don't like this. You know, we're gonna get like major fusions. And another thing is that a lot of people expected something other than Goku and Vegeta for Anniversary. And because of that, I think a lot of people got let down by Anniversary, because it ended up being Goku and Vegeta again. And a lot of people aren't really fans of getting Goku and Vegeta every Anniversary. It's going to be different when the Anniversary actually drops, and then people are going to be very excited. But a lot of people had different anticipations. Same for part 2, the anniversary even. A lot of people had it in their minds, oh yeah, we're gonna get Omega and Kid Buu, yes, it's finally their time. And then we get something actually kind of more related to the Spirit Bomb than that, in my personal opinion. Um, Kid Gohan was kind of a shoehorn in there, honestly. But I think it was like a really cool idea. But then, because people had in their minds set, we're getting Omega and Kid Buu, yes, we got disappointed, right? People got disappointed. I think that's another huge thing about it. Consistency of difficult events, yeah, I talked about this already, but it feels like most of these like responses are the same thing. It's like they don't test when your units app. We talked about this a little, where it's like they release these free-to-play units, and it's like, what's the point of them? You're not really gonna use them. Like they dropped this Dark to Reload content. Now I'm talking about, like, you could farm them. A lot of people will farm them just to have them, but some people would just not want to farm them. It's way less incentivized because, like, oh, I get to farm him for when his EZA comes out. It's like, that's really stupid. Why isn't he like good now? Like, what? Why can't they make him like at least like more runnable than he is? I don't know how to explain it. I mean, honestly, I from what I've seen with his numbers, he could tank normals and red zone if you're within the first 4 turns of his intro. But it's like, that's not like enough at this point, right? Even for a free-to-play unit. We just got Tech Bulma. We just got Esther Yamcha. We got the Tech Roshi. Jackie Chun. I keep saying Roshi. And it's like, okay, well, we got those units, and then the next release is Dr. Wheelo, who sucks. He's garbage. He also doesn't have any teams. He also has a terrible link set. And it's like, great. What do I do? Why would I use this unit, right? I think I'll end up there. I think we talked about a good amount of why I feel people are burnt out on the game or disappointed in the game. But at the end of the day, let me know what y'all think, right? If you're disappointed in the game, you'll see here. Every minor celebration feels the same. Major runs feel a bit lackluster. New units have been hit or miss. We've been using the same events as test units for a year. Shake things up. Yeah, and with major celebration students, I think they definitely will. But they push it all in the second half of the year. And I think people need to also kind of understand that. A lot of the preparation goes in the second half, which I think from the time July hits onward is going to be a banger in Dokkan, honestly. And the people are going to not even be having this thought in their mind anymore. So, yeah, thank y'all for watching, though. And, of course, I'll catch you next time.